What is Shakin, Shake Nation? We're back again. It's been a couple of weeks, but we're back. I've got a few of the usual suspects here. Damo,
Howdy ho.
Das,
Ahoy, boys.
Ed,
Chips ahoy.
and Kerwin is also here too.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Nugget.
Yeah, you too. Big moment. Me and Kerwin's first podcast together.
Yeah, I can't talk. It's not like I've been here all the time, so
Either. So
yeah, so
we're just
Big,
that busy.
this is momentous.
I've been in and
This
out with you,
is
Nugget, to be honest.
all
Yeah,
five on a podcast together for the first time. This is a big episode.
Yes, and
Fantastic
following social
five.
distancing restrictions. Well
Indeed,
done.
yeah.
We're compliant.
Keeping safe.
Mate, it's the first live in-person podcast. That's the
Oh,
biggest
boy.
moment.
And also drop suggested names for what we can call our Fantastic Five group in the comment sections.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm keen to see some of those answers, some of those replies. But anywho,
I'm sure if you're bad at maths, you can call us the Three Amigos. That also
Love it.
Well, we had the 10 subscriber special last time around, but
Yeah.
I think this takes the cake for me. All five of the Milkshake with the Boys family on at once.
yep,
Definitely.
Go.
it just keeps getting bigger and bigger at Milkshake with the boys.
yeah.
Taking great strides every week. Well,
Yep.
not every week. The last 2 weeks.
When we want.
When we, the weeks
Whenever we
we
see
do,
fit, yeah.
we take a big stride.
We do apologise for our absence.
Yeah.
absence.
Availability dependent.
Yeah.
You know what they say, boys? Absence makes the heart grow fonder or grow stronger. So look, we're going to have even more listeners this week because they're going to miss us so much.
Oh, too true, Das.
Well, we've got a
Righto.
big show lined up for you today, listeners. But as always, we're going to kick it off with a good old milk review. So, Damo, take us away.
Alrighty. So I've touched on this before with us being Metro Melbourne folk, unlike Cheesy and Nug, who are lucky enough to be in regional Victoria. The shopping trips aren't that frequent, so the array of milk that I can choose from is not necessarily plentiful, but I did some scavenging, talked to Mum and got some exquisite selections, some
Wow.
delicacies of milks to try, and got one of them coming up right here for you. So, cracking open the milk. It's a store-bought milk.
Ooh, a crack.
Crack. I thought that too, a crack. This is big.
Yeah.
We'll crack open a cold one with the boys,
Well, you do. Yeah.
without the
True.
boys, though. Let's clear that up. It was at home. Anyway, cracked it open, and the smell. It was a very strong, distinct smell. Not something you normally get from milk.
No, normally
Was it within its use
no
by date?
smell, actually.
Sorry, Kevin?
Was it within its use by date?
Yes, it was within its use by date.
So
It wasn't
bad.
a-
It was a smell reflective of the flavour you're telling me.
Yes, it was spot on as well. I
Okay.
will add. The smell was exactly as described. Anyway, so that was the first impression, but then the actual tasting of the milk, texture was fine, but the consistency, I thought it was a little thick. And it's not nice to be drinking milk that almost tastes like phlegm. Not tastes like phlegm, but feels
Ooh.
like phlegm. You know what I mean?
Wow,
That's
hey.
not a
it's just
texture you want to
Too
feel.
thick. You just
Yeah.
don't want to be drinking that. But anyway, the taste, once you got past the thickness with about 4 Cs, that's how thick it was, that didn't really taste like anything. So I had this really, and you couldn't taste anything. But then the aftertaste hit, and that was very strong. And again, it was bang on the flavour it had described. So they've marketed this milk correctly. It's spot on. You can't fault it. However, I don't think that this particular flavour worked. Not my cup of tea. And with the consistency of the milk being a bit off as well, I don't think that it goes that high up on the tier, and I'm going to have to chuck it in at a nah.
Ooh.
Oh, wowee.
Right at the bottom.
Bloody
Not
hell.
right at the bottom, second
Oh,
bottom.
one above.
You
of
had
course.
to start reviewing some stinkers eventually.
Oh, that's right.
Bound to
We were due
find
for
one.
I think.
This is a tough one.
Yeah, I'm struggling.
Well, I guess I'll start us off. My immediate thoughts was that you were going because you mentioned that it had a distinct smell and it smelt like what it should smell like. So my immediate thought was that it was the oak peppermint crisp in the carton, but I just did some research then, and you did talk about how it was a bit thicker, almost like phlegm, and I know oak have the thick
Yeah, that's
shake
what I thought too.
bottles. So I'm thinking, and you said the smell. I'm gonna have to go the peppermint, chocolate peppermint, oak
Can you get a
thick
thick one, can you?
shake. Yeah, I just did some research then. Apparently, you can. So
Hang
that's
on.
what I'm feeling like. Maybe you got.
That's got to be cheating.
Researching.
No, because I was
Researching.
just searching to see what flavors they had.
Yeah, and I tried to search for the answer directly from Damon last episode, and I got drilled for it. So I call for a disqualification.
Oh, geez, I don't know. The internet can't really read Damo's mind.
Hey,
Well,
you
if
weren't
that's the
disqualified last week, and you got the answer right. So
If this is the case and Ed's
That was 3
disqualified,
weeks ago,
I'm going to
Damo.
go with the thick oak peppermint crisp.
Yeah, and you know
I'm
what?
gonna go. I'll go the same. The
Yeah,
thick
I'm gonna
oak,
round
but
it
I'm
out.
gonna go
Yeah,
salted caramel.
Good
I'm gonna
call.
go with
Very
I'm gonna go with nugget because hear me out. I had the ages ago when they did the oak peppermints. It was still quite like the choc mint. It was still quite like minty, and I can imagine salted caramel milk not really tasting like anything. So I'm gonna go salted caramel with nugget.
Yeah, but what does caramel smell like though? What does salted caramel smell like?
It'd be like a really strong smell. I
Salted
can't
caramel
explain
does
it.
kind of
It
smell
does
kind
have
of.
a smell. If it's I think it does.
I
I
always
know.
get vanilla and caramel mixed up the smell though, because to me they're
They are
both
quite
pretty
similar.
similar.
Well, you
Yeah.
clearly have an underdeveloped olfactory receptors.
I think the salted caramel is a bit more of a savoury smell though, like compared to normal caramel and vanilla, so it's a bit distinct.
Yeah, true.
But this texture is throwing me off because I can't say I've tried one of those thick oak milks.
Neither.
Yeah.
I can't say I've even
Yeah.
tried a milk that has the texture of phlegm.
Yeah, it's just
I mean, it's sort
I've
of my
had one of these
consistency.
before,
for
and
anything.
they
Consistency.
are really thick. And like that's why, as soon as you said that it was like that thick,
Yeah.
that's why I went straight to.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just gonna. I think I don't even know a milk that I've never had one. I don't even know what makes it that thick. So I'm gonna have to follow your lead and go with that. Ed, what other flavors do they have? Because I don't know any of this.
do your own research.
Oh,
guys.
let's
They have
just cheat
thick
through
death
Ed.
chocolate, salted caramel, vanilla, and
It's called the chocolate is called Death Chocolate. So
Death chocolate. I reckon I might go vanilla because I could easily see that not having much of a flavor when you drink it, but vanilla does have a flavor, so I feel like that might come through in the aftertaste, and you can also smell it. So I'm going to go with the thick, ultra thick vanilla, whatever that is.
yeah, I'll go the choc mint, the thick oak thick choc mint. Even though I'm not sure how available
it's
they are.
funny when
That's
they're not
alright, Ed.
like even in the wrong category. Like it's just some
It's not even
completely
an
other
oak
milk.
That's all right, Ed. You're
probably
as good
not.
as disqualified to me. So.
Everyone just feeds off me, and I'm disqualified. This is
Yeah.
outrageous.
Hey, I was
That's
already
alright.
thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah. Righto.
I was also looking it up, but we're not going to talk about that. It's all Ed.
Well, I'll start by saying that none of them were thick. I
Oh.
didn't get a thick oak. I just thought that
What?
I just didn't think it went down very well. Now,
Really? Wow.
I'm torn here. One of the answers was like 95% correct.
It was going to be straight caramel, wasn't
It
it?
was regular caramel. No, it was
Well,
just peppermint.
I'm willing to give the points here.
Ooh.
95%. It's more correct than Milo being
Well, that's
chocolate.
true. Yeah,
Well,
fine.
Well, that's a poor example because that wouldn't be difficult.
Some would
But
say it is
I'm
Kerwin.
quietly confident we established that it's not chocolate.
That's what I mean. But Das still got
yeah.
half a point.
Yeah.
Well,
That's
I've been
got half a
told
point for
by
that?
reliable sources that Milo is a malt and not a chocolate.
There you go. Does
Did you
this mean
research
Das
that
is
as
being
well, did you?
stripped?
No, family friends.
Oh, okay.
Mm.
Das ain't losing the point now. That's just like Joe Watson losing the Brownlow.
Yeah, no, it's too late.
We'll do an inquiry at the end of the season.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
See what happens. But
Hope
the
your memory holds up.
it will do. The official drink was Oak, but it was peppermint crisp.
Oh, I knew it.
with
That's
Allen's.
what I was going
There-
to say because I just
Mhm.
had that drink like a week ago and I knew it was going to be peppermint because it's a distinct like smell. Like when I smelled it, I was like, yeah, that is pepperminty. And
It's
it wasn't
bang on,
that
isn't it?
great. But you just threw me off with the
If Ed gets the points
aspect
here,
of it, the thick
this is
consistency
about as
aspect of it.
BS as Patrick Dangerfield being All-Australian captain. That is all I'm going to say.
Hang on, I'll say that later, Kerwin.
Just
Ed-
understand that before you give him the point statement.
Kerwin, I don't think you understand that I'll take a point, but you guys are taking half a point because you guessed Oak.
He said mint. He said
Everyone's
mint.
winning.
Ed, did it taste? Did
Yeah,
it
but
have the
Ed,
texture
you
of foam
won.
when you drank it as well, or was it?
No,
thinner?
I didn't love it either, but I don't think the consistency was a bit off.
I
I
mean,
thought it was just regular milk consistency. Like
Phlegm
fine.
was an exaggeration, some hyperbole,
Yeah,
as
that's
some
where
would
you
say.
really threw us all off.
But it was too thick for mine.
Yeah, fair
I
enough.
didn't like that.
Yeah.
But it was peppermint crisp.
Wow, hey. I'm happy to give that point to Ed. I think.
Oh, turn it
And,
up.
hey, no,
You're going to talk in a minute about how Gunston didn't get picked.
no, hang on, Kevin. You're getting ahead of yourself. You've piggybacked off his research as well. So I don't know how much you can complain.
I
He
don't
was the
get
one that knew about oak thick. Granted, it wasn't a thick oak.
You're
Well,
all
all
getting
three of
half
us,
though.
points. You're all
All
getting
three
half
of
us.
points
See,
Look,
anyway.
I'm happy to not even take a half point this round because I had absolutely no
Yeah.
idea went off what Ed
I don't
said.
want to. I don't want a point this week.
Then you don't get one. That's fine.
Absolute controversy.
Ed, well in point, I'm going to say.
Well,
in
Oh,
I can take
turn
a
it up.
half point if you've taken nothing.
I'm going on a point strike in protest.
That's just
Who
what
said I'm not
Luke's doing.
taking a point? A half a point, Ed.
You're taking it?
Hey, come on. I need something.
True. Catch up with Kerwin since he's going.
No,
Nugget
well,
can have-
apparently
Nugget can
my
have my half
Milo
a
call is controversial enough, so I'll abstain from a half point this week.
Greedy.
Well,
Righto.
if we
Oh.
update the tally,
Yeah.
no taking his half a point, we have a new leader.
Oh.
It'll be cheese, man.
The big
What?
cheese.
Oh,
3
me?
points
Oh.
in
What?
front of Das with 2.5.
Nah, look,
Mhm.
I'll take half a point. I feel like that's
No. Oh, 1.
No,
okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's
guilty.
full
You're the
points.
boss. You're the boss.
Feel guilty,
Kerwin?
Blackie. Yeah.
1.5. If you want your half a point, you can be within 1 point of top spot, and Nug is last place on 1 point.
I need a bit of help. I would love to see you taste one of them now that you've said that the peppermint crisp is like really thick though. It's like I've had one of these and they're just
Could have been a bad batch. Who knows?
true.
It could have
true.
been. So what's
Maybe
that
you
now,
did get
Damo?
the expired milk.
It could have been.
It was within its use by, so unless it was printed wrong.
It might have just not been put in the fridge for long enough before it was. Could have just been put out in the sun, left
Oh,
for the
boy.
birds,
You'd hope not.
and bottled.
Classic.
So Damo, we've got nothing in dishwater.
Not yet, no.
We've got oak peppermint crisp at Yenar. We've got what's our middle
Regular
one
milk,
again?
regular farm release milk.
We got right on in the middle.
Right on, and we've got our farm relief full cream milk. Then right on, no,
Right on was the middle.
You bloody ripper.
right on.
You
Yeah,
bloody
you bloody
ripper.
ripper is the one. I'm getting the
And-
scam all out of the way.
And that is the Lindt.
Vanilla
Hot chocolate. And then milk that tastes like real milk. We had the Chocky Big M and a lime milkshake.
Gee,
Very good. Starting to get some depth into this.
We are.
Bit,
I'm
Well,
going to review some dishwater.
got to get that bell curve happening, I suppose. But listen, speaking of milk that tastes like real milk,
Ooh.
this is an iconic line from an iconic Australian ad. And now, listeners, we're going to discuss a few more of our favourite ads that we've seen. So, I mean, I think we can all agree that milk that tastes like real milk just has to be up there for all of us. So none of us are going to claim that as our own favourite ad because, I mean, it's ingrained in the basis of the podcast now, isn't it? It's too iconic.
it's the inspiration behind the top tier on the milk rating. You know?
It is. And that lady was spitting some serious bars recalling all those types of milks.
Faster than
I mean,
M&M.
Oh, no, imagine
arguably.
all the takes they would have had to have done of her just rapping and just.
But I also imagine that she just nailed it first go. Imagine that scenario where she's just come out, absolutely nailed it, and they've done it in one take.
I can see that granny doing it.
Yeah, me too. I can
Well,
those big chunky glasses and the get up she had on as well. She was an iconic lady.
I feel bad for saying this, but I wonder if she's still alive.
It was a while ago.
He was
wasn't it?
old, and that was a while ago.
Not only have you taken a wrongful point, but now you're throwing out insults about age. I think you're really going to take a bit of a grab on yourself.
I apologise, milk lady.
Boy.
That all you need to take an early bedtime. Up to you.
Geez, 10:55, getting a bit late for that already. Do you want me to just exit now?
But listen, I might start us off with my favourite ad. I think, I don't know, I hope I'm not taking this from anyone else. But one of my favourite ads is, and I'm probably going to butcher what product this even was for. I'm pretty sure it's Carlton Dry. Is it Carlton Dry?
I know what ad you're thinking about.
The ad where there's the 4 blokes who all secretly organised to go to the same resort for the same holiday and just happen to bump into each other. A bit like what seems to happen a lot during lockdown where people seem to bump into each other just at the park. But yeah, Michael Jamison and Rog and
Diane, Roger and Diane.
Roger and Diane, it's a couple. And what are the other blokes' names? I can't remember.
I just remember the adjoining rooms.
The adjoining room. Oh, where does this door go? And then they've got the same rooms as well. They've gone a step further to even have the same adjoining rooms. And
Carlton Mid.
Carlton Mid. I knew it was a Carlton product.
Yeah. I think Dry'd come out by then. That's a bit of a newer development.
That is true.
Under
That
the
is true.
impression. Yeah.
But I mean, just the scene of the bloke in the pool with his girlfriend draped around his back, and when he sees the boys, just throws her off and leaves her to fend for herself in the pool, and then heading to the bar with all the others. I mean, it's just iconic.
Yeah.
The Michael Jamison line, I think I recite quite regularly. And look, it's just a great ad, isn't it? Because I feel like it would be a pretty common thing for lots of people to do, to bump into each other when you've organised your getaways with your partners.
I dare say we'll be doing that in a few years' time.
Yeah, I could quite easily see that being a possibility.
Definitely.
Bali.
So that's my pick, boys.
Good answer, Darth. Great ad.
Thank you.
Who wants to go next?
Thanks for volunteering it.
Thanks, Kerwin. I know I'm your hero. Yeah, my favourite ad of all time, Aussie classic. I'm pretty sure you guys will love this one as well. It's Everything's Better in Slow Motion ad, the Carlton Draft ad.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely classic ad. I forgot about it for a bit until I started doing some research today, but God, I love this ad. Everything about it just brings back memories. And it's sort of, you know, back when you'd watch the footy, 2010-ish.
Yeah.
And
it'd
be one of those ads just before the footy comes on.
Yeah.
There's
or during.
No better feeling
about every ad break it came on, I reckon.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was
I
unreal.
miss the iconic Carlton Draft, Carlton Mid ads. I don't think they just make them anymore.
I agree.
No.
I
Are
feel
they-
like
That's an absolute
ads in
classic.
general though.
Are they sort of restricted as to like when they can actually broadcast them these days? Like, you know how they
True.
can't
Yeah,
they can't put gambling ads in the middle of sports games and that sort of thing. anymore?
Yeah.
But
Is it the
also
same with alcohol?
it's a bit of PC culture as well.
Probably.
Like,
Well, yeah,
Check
that's
your
why
privilege.
that is the
Yeah.
restriction. That's the point
can't
of it.
put
yeah.
your foot out of line anywhere. So, yeah, that's my favorite ad. And when
You
he
know
spits,
it's a good ad when you struggle to think what part of the ad's your favourite bit. Because there's so many of those slow motion scenes
Yeah.
that could, like the bit where he spits out the tiny bit of food and it
Yeah.
flies across, and that is always a bit that comes to my mind. But I also love the bloke that hits the other bloke's beer, and then he does the really sleazy look up with the
dirty
dirty
mo.
mo. It is also,
It's
I think
amazing.
they're the two best ones. But
Yeah.
also the guy that's
I
talking
agree.
to the chick and she's just completely not interested.
Yeah.
I love that one as well.
It just sums up a bar brilliantly. It's
It
just
does.
It was a
beautiful.
really good series. That's
Yeah.
there was a few of them.
The
Yeah.
full thing is 3 minutes.
Yeah,
So
Yeah.
search it up.
Wow.
'cause I was just watching it earlier. It's so
Mm.
good.
It's a high quality ad. They've done very well.
Worth a look, for sure.
But saying that, I feel like there's probably a few iconic beer ads to come, considering how good they've been.
Well,
In the
yeah.
past,
I mean,
so,
that's two
yeah.
from two beer ads, isn't it? So
Yep.
Yep.
We don't have an alcoholic problem, by the way, listeners.
we
We
just
just-
like the ads.
Appreciate a good
We'll
ad.
determine that after everyone's had a go.
Righto, who's next?
Yeah, all right. I'll have a go. I mean, this will make us look even more like alcoholics, but I will just point out that I do not drink. I'm a milk drinker, not an alcohol drinker.
Exactly. The
However,
beverage
it
of choice.
doesn't make me appreciate this ad any less. And this is it's a big ad, a Carlton Draft.
Oh, yes.
Very, very clever. Not necessarily the most like in your face funny, but you got to listen to the lyrics and they are quite funny, but also just the shot of all the people running at each other like it's some big battle scene from a movie, and then you zoom out and it's just all these people gathered in the shape of a person drinking a beer.
Yeah,
That would have been an expensive shoot as well.
it would.
Oh,
Pretty sure
hell
they
yeah.
said it was
Production value
very
is
expensive.
very high.
Yeah.
As they said, this ad better sell some bloody beer. I reckon it did.
It probably did.
I mean, it was probably already Australia's favourite beer, or one of before, but I couldn't, it would have skyrocketed
cemented, I
after that.
reckon. Yeah.
Yeah, good one, Damo. Great
I'm
ad.
gonna continue on with the Carlton draft dry thing we got going here, and the Carlton draft beer chase. So when they walk into the bar, order, and then they're all bank robbers, and they look to the right, and there's the cop sitting there.
That is a classic. That is a classic.
I don't actually remember this ad.
Neither.
They can't spill the beer because the beer's
Yeah.
that good, and they're
Oh,
running away from the
yeah.
cops.
It's like they're in the car, and
Oh,
they're going down the road, and then they're like veer right, and the cops behind them fly into the boxes.
Yeah.
I forgot how bloody good that ad was.
They run in like a formation where it looks like they're in a car.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember
Yes,
this one
that
now.
is a classic. I can't believe I forgot about that.
Oh,
That is so iconic. Sorry.
Ed loves it.
I love that ad. It's amazing. Oh, jeez. That's a good
Right,
one.
okay. Now you're going to round us out with
Yeah, so
another beer ad.
the hopes of our alcoholism rest on my shoulders, do they?
Apparently. Are you making it 5 for 5, or are you going to restore some hope?
Well, I sort of have an assortment, if that's all right.
Righto, quick fire round.
So I'll start with the alcohol. I really did not hate the Canadian club I Don't Like Beer Anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, it was good at the start, but I
It got
don't
old
like
quick,
it
though.
anymore. Yeah, it did.
I know. They really overdid it at the
Yeah.
start. It's like a good song that gets ruined by radio.
Yeah.
My second ad would have been the series of Rhonda and Patut.
Oh, yes.
I don't think anything was more funny as a 10-year-old.
No, well,
Probably
exactly.
not.
Especially when it came to ads. And you couldn't understand. You didn't have an understanding of the world that was. I'll now move to diet choices. The old "Wouldn't it be nice if the world was Cadbury" ads?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, that was
good.
good.
yeah.
I always
Good ad.
dreamed that would be like something I could just live in. Like,
Yeah. I
Utopia.
always have this lasting, excuse me, this lasting impression of the guy when they sit in the cinemas and the guy just takes a chomp out of his
Yeah.
massive chocolate afro so we can see the screen.
That is good. That is good.
Yeah.
The trouble though with that ad that no one has really raised is that they're also made out of chocolate. So the whole thing is a bit cannibalistic.
Well, I suppose you could read into that a little more and that they could eat each other.
Darcy, you take that simple ad way too far, mate.
Well, I'm just saying.
You crossed that line, Darth. That's not okay.
Sorry.
And then also the Mr. T Snickers ads.
Yeah.
The one where he drives,
I forgot about
where the kid trips. They're playing that soccer game. The kid trips over and he's having a sook about his knee
Yeah.
or whatever. And
not
then
you when you're
Mr. T
hungry.
comes in driving that tank and
Yeah.
and lines up the barrel right at this kid's face. Yeah, that's just a few. There's plenty
Yeah,
more on that
assortment.
list,
Very good.
yeah.
That's
let me
good.
hold you up.
Well, if we're gonna list off a few, some honourable mentions, I might add
Yeah.
one in there as well. The old footy ad where it changed to different sports and different players, but it kept like the same kind of shot.
Yeah, like
Always remember that
Oh,
one?
and it ended up with yeah, and they go
I
through
can't
like
remember all the
desert
players,
and,
but I remember Buddy was one of them.
Buddy was in
when he
it. I
was
think
at the
Adam Goods was
Hawks.
in it.
Gary
Adam
Ablett
Goods.
and the Bull.
Yep.
Yeah, and there was a bit where it turned into a basketball game, which I always used to love.
yeah,
Yeah, that was a classic. I
Yeah.
love that ad.
good ad.
I just remembered the like ones of is it Stephen Curry and the other bloke? And they,
Legendary
like, have,
moments.
yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Totally forgot about
Yeah.
them. They
Yeah.
were great ads.
The Kia, was it
They-
Kia? No,
that
Toyota.
series.
Toyota.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Toyota
Toyota,
feeling.
They were good
Yeah.
ads.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Tony
they were
Lockett
good.
and the pig.
Yeah.
since we're just listening at this stage, I'd also like to chuck in. I don't know how this one hasn't been brought up yet, to be honest. The Great Wall of China ad.
Keeping the rabbits
Keep
out.
the rabbits out.
Yes.
Iconic.
That was an all-time ad.
Yep.
There's also the Schmackos ads. I feel like all the
Oh.
Schmackos ads are so
really?
good. I love them. Just the themes,
The
like the
animated
little,
ones.
yeah, the little like
Yeah.
ending to it.
Yeah.
I just like it. It's so catchy.
No, no.
Yeah, they were good.
Any
Oh,
more
what is
honourable
this?
mentions before
I'll
we move
throw
on?
in a couple.
Yeah,
Yep.
go on, Damo.
The Hilux one, the baby come back.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
yes.
yes. Yes.
That,
is
that
a
one,
good ad.
love it or hate
Washed up
it,
on the beach.
you knew it, yeah.
Yeah.
And the old nicotine, no Gary, no.
Yeah. That's an old one.
That's
I
very
don't remember this.
Neither.
This ad.
I feel like I was only like 8 or 9 when that ad was a thing.
but
It's like the
stuck
rugby
with me.
players on the road or something, isn't it? Or soccer players, is it?
It's like they're the physical representation or human representation rather of like a nicotine patch. So every time he goes
Oh no, I'm thinking.
to have a smoke, all these people just jump out of nowhere and go,
Oh,
no, Gary,
yeah,
no.
Yes, I
yeah,
think
no,
I do
that
remember
one.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
those
Gee,
ones have
good.
stuck with
What a
me.
list. There's
Yeah.
so many
I
more
know.
ads than I've forgotten about. That's I know some old memories for me there.
But why do you
that
need
might be
new
my
ads?
night tonight.
Because
Just
they
watch some old classic ads.
Yeah.
And for the
We
hardest
still haven't
working
talked
man in
about the,
podcasting, imagine how many ads we'd have still to present.
Well, exactly.
Mm,
the chicken salt and the plain salt one in the fish and chip shop.
classic ad.
Oh, Ed was a sucker
Classic
for that
ad.
one. He loved it.
You loved
That
it
is
too.
I
amazing.
did. I just loved how that he had the audacity to ask for both salts and not
But the
just
dance,
think for
dance
one.
that followed it up was
Yeah.
Wait.
impeccable.
Can we Hamish and Andy power moves that both? I reckon
That is a power move, actually.
that is a
I feel
massive
like
power move.
because
Yeah.
you're making them do double the work. So really no extra effect for you.
Exactly. Just a bit
If you put in
saltier,
chicken
isn't it?
salt on chips, how are you going to taste the regular salt? Anyway,
It's a good
I want to
question,
try
but
it. I've never tried it really.
Well, we'll have to maybe do it.
I wonder if there was actually a spike in fish and chip shops receiving requests for both salts after that ad aired.
I
Yeah,
know this from
surely.
going into the local fish and chip shop in Terang that he has been asked like a lot of times now that like what salt? They say both.
Really? Well,
Yeah.
there you
I think
go.
it's sometimes it's a joke, and then some people are like, "Oh, might as well treat it."
They actually do it.
Nice. I respect it. Righto. Well, yeah, that was a good one, boys. A good flashback
Yeah.
list. Bunch of good ads.
Lists.
Yeah.
Speaking of lists, Ed,
Speaking
our
of
list
lists,
came out around the time of recording of the top 22 footballers
Here we
make the
go.
All-Australian team.
Top
Now, Kevin's
22.
alluded to this earlier in the podcast about some gripes we have with the selections, and there are numerous gripes.
or
I'm going to
potentially
discuss them for
I'm
you
not
now.
going to
moves we're
lie to
pleased
you.
about.
I could genuinely go on all night about how rubbish that was, but
There wasn't a lot I was pleased about, to be honest, but look,
There was some.
probably because I am a bit biased, but look, anyway, let's start off with a supporter of a team that was quite well looked after in Nugget. He's getting excited.
Look,
The doggies
I'm happy. I'm
quite
actually-
well represented in the Australian
I was
team.
very happy. I was absolutely distraught when I was like watching it at work on the live blog, and they said like the back line, and I just didn't see Caleb Daniel.
Mm.
If he wasn't in the team, I was going to be distraught.
He was probably one of the few doggies that definitely deserved it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I would have been fine if the Bont wasn't in it, but
Mm.
I don't know why. That forward line I'll just go to that
Oh boy.
with Patrick
We're going straight to the forward
Dangerfield,
line, are we?
Dustin
This is an
Martin,
absolute
and
joke.
the Bont.
I've got
Mm.
some stats I've seen here about this forward line. Those three players you mentioned, someone's posted their heat maps on Twitter.
Yeah.
You know, the possession heat maps.
Yeah.
All three of them have the red circle in the center square. That's where they get all their possessions, is at center bounces in the center square, and there's three of them in the forward line.
I think Dan Butler
I could,
has been absolutely stitched up.
Butler
well,
and
considering they put Dusty in the forward pocket,
I would have put Dan Butler there.
yeah.
I would have put Dan Butler too, but also Tom Papley. I know we've
True.
We've mentioned him in the past, how I don't like Tom Papley. I think he deserved a spot over any of those three
Was he in the forward?
in those positions. No, he didn't make it.
Not even in the forward.
So I go
he was
quickly
in the
through
40.
the team.
Oh, in the
I'll go
forward,
through
he's
the
in the
team.
forward.
forward.
was.
Very quickly through our team.
I thought you said in the
It's
forward
been-
line, Damo.
No.
So-
No, he was in the 40, but not in the forward line where
Okay.
he should be. And I'll go into bat for my man Jack Gunston as a Hawk supporter.
I did not know he
third in
kicked
the
the third
Coleman.
most goals. Yeah.
Yeah, in a team that finished 16th, kicked the third most goals.
Yep.
He had the only player to get 30, kick at least 30 goals and have 30 inside 50s.
Oh,
He averaged
really?
260 meters gained, and he averaged more disposals than, well, Josh Kennedy didn't make the team, but more disposals than Big Charlie Dixon. But Charlie did have a good year, but
He doesn't really get much of the ball
he
though.
deserved that.
He just
Yeah, he deserved
takes
that
the
half
mark,
forward
kicks
spot,
it
I
out
think,
there.
Charlie. But I think
Yeah.
Gunston definitely deserved the spot on the flank because
Yeah, I
Patrick
agree.
that's the
Dangerfield
position
should
he
not
actually
be in that team.
plays. And he's the one that that amount of forward 50 connectivity between the wing and the inside, and still managing to kick that many goals himself.
Yeah.
I think he deserved a spot. But
The
anyway.
worst part about Patrick Dangerfield being in that team too is now they've also put him as captain.
Yeah.
That's a joke.
He's one of the greatest captains to ever play the game, isn't he? He's so good at his captaincy in Geelong, and he was
I
so
used
good
to
at his
think the
captaincy in
captain-
Adelaide.
I thought the captain had to actually be someone who is the captain.
Well, remember
No.
Lance Franklin? Alex?
Yeah.
He got
This is
it. He
the
got
thing.
it over Shannon Hearn, didn't he?
Mm.
Yeah, which
Mm.
this is the first time I thought it strayed from that, but I didn't used to pay that much attention to it, to be fair. But is that how it used to be? They had to be an actual captain? Was the
Well,
captain?
on that, the Bont should be.
Or Gorn?
Yeah, but the
I
Bont
mean,
is
he's not
starting.
starting, I guess.
but yeah, but Bontempelli's starting. That's the thing.
but still a captain. I don't
Yeah.
think he should have even been in the team, to be honest
Bond
with you.
shouldn't have been. I'm fine with saying that Bond shouldn't have been in the team, even as a dog supporter.
I was saying Gorn as well.
Well, from conversation so far, what I'm taking is our main grudge against the system in general, but especially this year, is the confusion about positions and people getting put in positions where they don't actually play, and makes a very blurry decision.
Yeah, they just try to jam as many midfielders in the team as they can.
What's the point of having positions?
Exactly.
Just list the top 22 players
Yeah.
if you're not going to give them a
Because
position.
the thing is, that generally happens with the Brownlow medal anyway, is that it's all midfielders in the top however many players.
Yeah.
But another stat I saw, I don't mean to come in swinging against the Bulldogs players here, Nug, but Jack McRae listed on the wing when he played 5% of his game time there for the whole year.
100%. I know that, but he should have been in the team if you ask me anyway.
I
At
think
least
he was a good enough midfielder to probably get a spot on the bench, I think, but not on the wing starting.
I don't know how I feel about Petrarca being in there either, to be honest.
I think I'd take Petrarca over Dusty, though.
Yeah, Dusty, no.
I'd have Dusty out of the team.
The thing, I would too. The thing is, with Petrarca, is they were comparing him to Dusty. They're like, Petrarca's the best mid in the competition. He's better than Dusty, and then he stunk it up for the rest of the year.
No, he didn't.
I don't know if he stunk it up. He just didn't get the media attention he did early on.
Petrarca had a very good season.
He did. I think it was very solid. But I'd be coming in saying Dusty should be out of the team before Petrarca.
Absolutely.
Track was very good this year.
He was.
He wasn't like Dusty, where he's a mid forward. He genuinely played inside mid on ball for the majority of the year.
Which I feel like is where he hasn't actually played much previously. Like they've been playing half
he'd
forward,
been dead
right?
forward. Yeah.
I was listening to a video on Facebook earlier, and it was Adam Cooney, another ex-dog great.
Brownlow medalist.
Yeah. He was actually saying some really good points about the team. He was saying that you look at the NBA, they've got their All-NBA first team, second team, third team. Anyone's eligible for it, which is a great system for recognizing who has been the best players in that season, even if it's not always going to be super correct.
Yeah.
What he was saying is that maybe in the future, instead of having a team of 40 and then narrowing it down to a team of 22, it's only 4 more players for an all AFL first team and an all AFL second team.
Yeah, I rate that.
And that way you can still squeeze in people who weren't quite not good enough in that second team, and they're still getting the acknowledgement.
I suppose that also could take away from the contention of, who was snubbed, who was not.
Yeah, exactly.
Definitely.
I mean,
that poll they have, I don't know if you guys saw that poll on the All Australian article on the AFL app about who was the unluckiest to miss out on the spot. And Jack Gunston wasn't even an option.
Yeah, no.
Couldn't even pick him. I was like, how am I meant to vote for him?
That's outraged.
I am outraged.
There's always going to be snubs, and not just from the team in general, but from the 40. And
exactly.
That's what I was about to talk about.
Yeah, but Steve May was very good.
Yeah.
However, I think the worst snub was Todd Goldstein. I think he should have been starting ruckman in the team.
He definitely should have been over Maxi, I feel like.
Well, even Nick Nat.
Yeah, to be honest, I agree in ways. I feel like Max he missed a few games towards the end. And I feel like Nick Nat's work is so overrated. Like, he's a great player, good ruckman, and he does his job.
Career.
But I just don't feel like he does enough outside of being a good ruckman and being an expert at like the jump and stuff. Like, I don't know. That's
the actual ruck craft.
Yeah, his ruck craft is amazing, but
because Goldie was like 6th in clearances for the league or something.
Yeah, exactly. He does everything.
Well, he's trying to carry that team, and he couldn't do much about it.
And that's the thing.
I feel like that's what hurt his chances, even though
But it shouldn't. Yeah, it's an
Yeah.
individual thing. It's not
Why
a
did
team thing.
Natalie Fife win the Brownlow last year?
It's an individual thing.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And
Well, how about we move into an area of less contention and look at the back line?
Mm.
Yeah.
Brad
Thanks.
Shepherd, Harris Andrews, Luke Ryan.
The one that stuck out to me was Brad Shepherd because I haven't watched many West Coast games.
I haven't watched many West Coast games either.
I
can't
couldn't
really
tell you
comment.
if he deserves that spot or not.
I'd say so. He's a good lockdown player. He's not flashy, but
Yeah.
he gets the job
Yeah.
done. And I think
Yeah.
that's something that the AFL fails to recognise at times.
Yeah.
Talk to us
Yeah.
about Darcy Byrne-Jones, Kieran.
Well, I think he's deserving to be. Well, I'm a Port supporter, but what he's done for Port through their backline and transitions and all of that has just been unreal and sort of.
He's
giving
not the
us-
run and carry, is he? He's the disposal.
No,
kind of
but he's
link up,
the
isn't
he's the cleanup.
I see.
For me, the
Yeah.
Get the
front
ball back to the
three,
mid. Yeah.
the front three backmen, I have no problem with. This is going to be the bit of team bias here. The
You're
back
gonna say Darcy
three.
more?
No,
Andrews.
I'm
He's-
okay.
I'd like
winning.
to point out actually 2 Darcys there in that line. So
Yeah.
Ooh.
something about that.
Yeah.
Something in there.
you nearly hit the jackpot.
Nearly.
But
yeah,
Special
Darcy
feature.
Crediton also in that back line.
the fullback and back pocket boys. I'm not sure about the Jacob Wiedering admission.
I knew this was coming.
I
He was
know it sounds biased, but I did a bit of a comparison after I saw that he missed out between a few of the players that replaced him. Particularly, I feel like Shepherd was definitely deserving. He was the standout one for me, but Luke Ryan and Harris Andrews. My knock on Harris Andrews is that he missed 3 or 4 games at the end of the season. And in saying that, his stats are identical to Wiedering, except he gets slightly more like spoils, but like less disposals, less clearances as a backman, and less like meters gained and kicks and marks. So I feel like Harris Andrews, considering he's been there before, there was a bit of bias towards that because he has a reputation.
Yeah.
I feel like it'd be hard to argue that he isn't one of the best defenders.
Oh,
though.
no, definitely. And if he had a full season, then I wouldn't blame it too much. But especially in a shortened season where there's only 17 games,
Yeah. And if
playing
he's
just at 13 or 14 and having similar stats to some of the other best backliners seems like it's a pretty hard admission. Again, I'm a Carlton fan, but I truly thought Wiedering was making it this year.
I do hear, like,
I
in
think
terms
Luke
of, like,
Ryan
if it
was
was a,
deserving.
yeah, if it's like a best and fairest, that's 4 games he's not getting votes for.
Yeah, exactly.
exactly.
Yeah.
I think Luke Ryan was deserving of his spot. I agree
Yeah.
that Harris Andrews maybe.
Or even just a bench position if he's not going to, I don't know, but then there's only 4 bench, I guess.
the only problem I had, and it's not even a big problem because he still was named in the team, but I wouldn't have Caleb Daniel starting on that bench. But I don't know if they just switch one out, but that's probably bias.
He was definitely one of the best 3 half-backmen, I reckon. I agree.
Every time he
He
got the
was
ball in his hands, it was
unreal
pretty
this
much
year.
delivered straight into the other, like the person who was kicking
Oh,
to.
he's the best
straight
field
into him.
kick in the competition. for
And you
sure.
would have thought, since how unstoppable he was in like the last 3 or 4 rounds leading towards the All-Australian picking,
Yeah.
that would have had a bit playing towards him being in the starting, but
Yeah.
I'm not really complaining though because he was still in the team.
Yeah. And Nick Haynes, I don't really have an issue with either.
yeah, he
He
was
was the leading intercept player, I think, especially
Yeah, that's
especially
what I
with
thought.
when
Beautifully.
competition and when he got
I was
injured.
going to say it'd
Haynes was
be
the clear.
much more difficult to argue the case against for him than it would be to argue for.
I'd love to see
Yeah.
Bont and Nick Haynes playing the same team. That'd be quite interesting.
A lot of
He
hair
was-
there.
There is
Yeah.
a lot of hair. That's yeah.
Yeah.
Couple man buns flowing.
And also, that was Bont hit him in the the larynx?
Oh, that's
Oh,
right.
yeah.
He
That's
didn't
right.
get
That was
recorded,
him, wasn't
thankfully.
The Lorax.
it?
Righto, Borat.
What about Cam Guthrie? I rate that.
Yeah.
I don't know. I try to avoid as many Geelong games as I can.
I
so-
do too. I do too.
but he was very good against us.
I'm a very anti-Geelong advocate.
Bob up a lot
Um,
when I did happen to be watching a Geelong game.
Well, the thing is, Guthrie actually plays wing, doesn't he? Or is he in the midfield?
Not really.
No,
He had like
Okay.
more than McRae, but still.
See,
Right.
with Geelong, the actual person that I think was stiff to miss out probably would have been fullback instead of Wiedering or Andrews was Blizzards
Mm.
to me. But
Mm.
he's like, to me, the most dominant like fullback. Like if I was to come like any team, to me he's the most dominant one. But
I think the thing is that probably stopped Blitzards from getting in was how much time he spent in the ruck too.
yeah.
Yeah. Guthrie spent 17% of his time on ground on the wing for the year.
That's such
McRae
a...
spent 4%.
I understand your point, Kerwin, but like that's just such a shit reasoning for it. Like that's
But
the same
then-
as Dusty getting
Yeah,
half
precisely,
forward.
which is what I was about to say. How's Dusty in the
Because,
forward pocket?
I
then?
mean, look, as good as Dusty is when he's playing in the forward pocket and up forward, like he's pretty decent when he's down there. But considering he spends most of his time in the midfield, like well over 75% of his time in the midfield, you would think that he's not eligible for that spot. But yeah,
Precisely. Well, I think with all of that in mind, we should have been the Australian voters,
Well, that's the thing.
and not whoever it was that picked this team.
It was Richo and Lingy and KB,
Mm.
Gill.
That's how Dusty got in.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's it. And then because Dangers isn't he like the prez of the AFLPA? or something?
AFLPA, he is.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that'd get him a free ticket in, wouldn't it?
Probably.
That's what annoys me, not just with the AFL, but every sport. There's like the one award that is not subjective or opinion based is like leading goal kicker or like leading scorer or something.
Yeah, because you can't argue with it. That's
Exactly.
just
Same
what
in the
happened.
NBA. Because like I was reading this one dude gave votes of defensive player of the year to Patrick Beverley. Like he's
Really?
I know.
he also gave his vote to Zion Williamson for rookie of the year. This same person. He was the only
What?
person who gave a vote to Zion.
On
Or
that
one of them.
on that rookie of the year note, we have our NAB Rising Star. Is it still NAB?
I don't know.
Yep.
I believe
Yeah.
so, yeah. No Rising Star.
The NAB Rising Star. On your thoughts on Matt Rao's eligibility?
He's eligible next year, isn't he?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
he'll take
Is
the
he also eligible?
He'll win it
this
next year.
yeah.
One
He
half
was.
a year and you'll have it.
he was clearly the best when he was on the field, but he only played 4 games.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
just
Yeah.
four
you
and a
could see how
quarter.
much he lifted that Gold Coast compared to when after he was injured. They're pretty much just lacked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Midfield.
Is he eligible for this year?
He was for this year, yeah.
Yeah,
He could
he
get
got a
votes.
nom.
So how can you be?
and-
I'm confused. How can you be eligible for
You have to
both?
be below a certain age and have played below a certain number of games. So players have gotten multiple nominations in their career.
Oh, okay.
I have a
There you go.
feeling a couple of Melbourne people back in the day.
I'm
Nathan
not well
Jones
researched
might have
in
gotten
this,
two.
in this area of the NAB Rising Star Award.
It's a
I was happy with
very...
Caleb Sarong though.
Yeah, I think he deserved it. But the award, I feel, is a bit flawed in the way it's run.
Well, again,
Because-
it should be all rookies eligible. You don't just have to get
Exactly.
a rookie of the like.
The nomination
exactly.
system seems
So bullshit.
really weird
Yeah,
because...
because isn't it based on like if you play well in that round and
Well, who knows
Well,
what it's
yeah, at
based
the
on?
start,
Yeah,
at the
exactly.
start, it is based on how you play in that round. Because who got it in the first round? It was
Sturt.
Sam Stewart, who then missed like so much of the rest of the year. And then Matt Rowell got one as well, but he was clearly deserving. He played
Yeah.
5 rounds of footy. But then towards the end, they start basing it off on how you've gone for the whole year instead of just that round.
Yeah.
And I either need to keep it consistent or just have nominees at the end of the year and not do it.
So do it as like an award race, like the NBA sort of thing,
Yeah.
rather
Or-
than this 18 or 17 people are eligible.
Well, this is the thing. In the past, there's been, 23 people, 23
23.
blokes
Yeah.
eligible. This year, there's less. So why is there less people? There would have been probably the same number of rookies played. Probably more because of how the fixture was. But then because they played less games,
Reckon
There's
at
people
least
that
the
get
Dogs had
nominated.
would have had at least 5 first rookies playing at least.
yeah.
I'm sure for a lot of
Mm.
teams it was the exact same.
Mm.
Well, in general, I guess consistency seems to be a bit of a problem in
Yes.
the award system in the
Definitely.
AFL. And
Consistency in everything in the AFL is
yeah, and with rules as well, I guess, how they
Yeah.
change that week in, week out. But
Yeah.
I was just thinking, I'm like, why don't they do a fan vote for these awards? Like, if the fans are the people that watch the game week in, week out, and I guess there might be some biases, like Richmond and West Coast might have heaps of voters or something
Yeah,
because they've
that's
got the
certainly
most
where
members.
that would be the issue. You'd have a team full of Richmond and West Coast and Geelong players because
But that's the thing though. Like,
not Geelong, Collingwood.
can you trust people? Because I know if I was doing the voting this year, the only person I would have voted for from Carlton is Wiedering. No one else in Carlton deserved a spot this year. I'm like, I know that.
Well, I think it depends on the award because you look at the NBL, for example, a couple of years ago, they had, this year too, they have the MVP, which is voted on by, used to be the umpires, but now it's done by a selection committee sort of thing. And they also had the fans MVP.
Is that the one Lockie Neal one? The AFL
Coaches one.
AFL MVP, yeah.
Yeah. Which that award is so much better compared to
easily so much better. It's same as in every sports league. The coach's pick is always way more credible.
Yeah.
They're the people that focus and watch the game.
You look at the votes during the year, and I know, once again, because I'm a dog supporter, I know what the dogs were. Libba had pressure acts and stuff, and he didn't have a high disposal count or anything, and then he got 10 votes. Or Toby McLean against West Coast shut down Andrew Gaff, and he got the most votes, which is a lot better than just that dude got 35 disposals. I'll just give the votes to him.
And that's all the umpires see.
Yeah.
Because they're right in the thick of it and they just see who's got the pill.
Exactly.
I'm looking at the AFL MVP winners over the year, and it's almost like every year is genuinely who you would have thought would have been the best player that year based off their performance and stuff. You got Lockie Neal this year, clear, everyone thinks he's going to win Brownlow.
He's not losing that Brownlow.
No way. But it's always the expected pick. Last year was Paddy Cripps, Tom Mitchell, Dustin Martin, Patrick Dangerfield.
That's the players' MVP, right?
Yeah, I think I think AFL MVP is players.
The coaches won last.
Yeah, true.
Isn't it?
Yeah, Neil won both this year.
And then Gorn won it the year before. I think Robbie Gray got one as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I just feel why do these no ones, well, not necessarily no ones, but why do these people that commentators and all that get the deciding pick on who makes the teams?
Yeah.
Especially when the panel's only 9 people and there's I don't know, there's no consistency in it.
The system's flawed.
Yeah.
But then all those awards as well. I know your pal Sam Walshed won the best young player as voted by the coaches.
Mm.
And I know this is a very difficult case to argue. Was he in the All-Australian 40?
No. Was Rosie in the All-Australian 40?
No, Zach Butters was.
Oh, true, he was too. Really? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, the thing is, though, I feel like, well, that's obviously because of positions as well. And Walsh
Yeah.
is playing in the midfield. But
Best young player I would say would be I'm pretty sure I get given captain of under 22 was Andrew McGrath, but
yeah. Well, the best second-year player is a heavily debated topic. I know Kane Corns, classic Kane Corns, makes
Oh,
the hardest run for Rosie you'll ever see. Even though I don't think Rosie's near the discussion, I think there's two clear standouts, and maybe
even out of like Butters,
I think
Dersma,
Butters
Rosie,
is the better
I feel
player.
like Butters is the best out of those three at the
Exactly.
moment, as it stands.
It's definitely out of Walsh or Baz though.
Yeah, there's no contest. And then I feel like maybe then it's probably Butters over Rosie. I don't think Rosie is.
Yeah,
good
I
thing
feel
is
like
you have them both.
It'd be harsh to not have Butters in the conversation.
Well, yeah, especially after getting a 40,
top 5,
making the All-Australian 40 team.
Like I feel
It's a pretty good effort.
That's a good case as any, isn't it? But
when I did watch Port Adelaide, he was unreal. Like he is a bloody good player.
He's incredible. But then I suppose we can't really use the All-Australian nomination as any sort of credential after how much we've just torn it.
No, look, for the most part, like I still think the 40 players that were selected, they all those 40 players would still make the top 50.
Yeah. Well,
But
I think because they made the top 40, so mathematically.
No, but like if there was like a fan vote or something, like a more.
There's one player left out for me that really was really surprising was Lloyd for Sydney. After reading his stats, like 78 disposal efficiency. He averaged just under 26 disposals, had more kicks than anyone else, and was ranked first for effective disposal.
Well, it's not just stats, it's the eye test. When you watch a Sydney game, he's the one, when they do score, that's always setting it up. Yeah.
And BT helps make sure you know when he's got the ball. Elongated
Lloyd.
What a legend.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that's pretty much our takes on the...
Yeah, let us know, listeners, what you think. I'm sure you've got your own opinions of who's snubbed, who's deserving. So let us know what your thoughts in the comments below, or at Instagram at MSWTB_pod, or at Twitter with the handle at MilkshakeWTB. Hit us up there, DMs, tweets, or slide into our DMs on Insta as well, and let us know what you think.
We hope you all enjoyed the podcast. Well, I know we had a great discussion, and I hope, as long as you guys are enjoying it as much as us, that's all we want. So hope you enjoyed. Check out our Instagram and Twitter and all that. Das plugged that earlier, and Shake on, Shake Nation.
Don't be lazy. Say it again.
The Twitter is at MilkshakeWTB. The Instagram is at MSWTB_pod. Hit us up, let us know your thoughts. And until next time, Shake on, Shake Nation.
Night, mates.
Night, mates.